Welcome back to Advertising is Dead. We're talking to Rohit. Rohit, we're finally doing this. This has been, I can't even talk about how long this has been in the works. Like you and I have spoken about doing this for years now. I'm finally doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Better late than never.
Yeah.
And I hope this is going to be fruitful. Thanks for having me.
Firstly, let me start off by saying that Dhindora was amazing. Like to be honest, I have I was amazed through the entire show to say this is a show on YouTube. It feels like it's something much larger. It feels like something so much more than that. And I think just the numbers, just the love that's out there for it. But as just a person who consumed it, as a viewer, it was outstanding. Um, and I'd want to get into how you kind of kicked it off, but I want to also talk to you about how has it been for you the last, I would say, about 4 or 5 years, and or rather from the time you started off, because your entire journey as someone who has worked alongside Bhuvan, but also has been building out so much more. How has that been for you?
It's been interesting because I was going to be doing the quintessential engineering course when I got
Mm,
out of school.
mm,
So in the first 1 year when I was pursuing my engineering, I was like, okay, this is going to be my life. I'm going to be completing this 4 year course, do
mm,
2 years of job, then go for my post graduation, if at all I'm able to crack something.
mm,
And this is how life's going to be because that's how the first year, life after school started.
yeah.
But I think I failed, and I failed right, because that's how everything else fell in my lap, because I was like, okay, I've heard my parents out. I've tried doing the things that how they are done recently, and then now let's just do things that I really like. So for the past 6 years, I've been having a ball because I've been doing things that I really like. So maybe building out talent, working on a show like Dhindora. Thanks a lot, by the way, because when it comes from people who are not our TG, and who consume the kind of content that is out there on the internet, and then when they like the show, I mean that's what gives us some sort of goosebumps here and there. But thank you. But life's been good because I've been trying to do things that I really am passionate about. Earlier, I thought I could be a talent myself, and I realized,
Mm,
okay, I don't have it in me. I'd rather manage different kind of artists, and create some sort of business around them, so that they focus on what they do their best, and I focus on things which can basically help them reach better places. And yeah, it's been a good roller coaster.
you know, you just mentioned about just kind of helping creators kind of scale, right? And I think it's also an interesting time because I think the one of the key words of the last 1.5 years was the creator. It suddenly become creator economy, right? It's just about
Hmm.
you talk about you. The term was YouTuber or podcaster or anything else. Now the term is creator economy. Um, what have you kind of seen as things that have changed? If you look at the last year or year and a half, seeing just how it is to work with creators today, just in terms of what they have to kind of dish out, but also that really what you really have to support them with. What have you seen change there?
I mean, because Bhuvan and I have been doing this for the past 6.5 years now, I've seen a drastic change in now, which is called creator economy. Earlier, it
Mm,
was called influencer marketing
yeah.
or influencer business or agencies. Before that, it was just content and advertising. And I'm sure in the next 5 to 10 years, there'll be newer terms coming
Mm,
into play
yeah.
and newer jargons coming into play. But we've become very inclusive. We are now a part of all kind of media plans, right?
Mm,
We are a part
mm,
of all kind of marketing plans. We are the talk of the town almost everywhere throughout the world. So I think the content creator space is definitely growing like a wildfire, right? And for example, in the first 1 year, 1.5 years of us running BBKiVines, we realized that okay, now we do not want to indulge in brands and branded content. Uh, and very honestly, the kind of pitches or the kind of demands that were coming our way were also very, I mean, they were not super cool, or they
yeah.
were not the best, or not they were not the kinds that a Bollywood A-lister or a Bollywood B-lister will get. You know, you will have to. I mean, I had to fight for the first 1 or 2 years for Bhuvan to crack an FMCG brand or
Mm.
just an offline brand, right? Because initially people thought, okay, get a digital creator to promote an app, and
Yeah.
we'll get so many clicks and downloads, and that's our KRA. We are happy.
Mm.
But I think now it's sort of become like an hygiene key. You definitely need digital creators to be activating things around you. So which is great. I mean, because you are now a part of that discussion on that table, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and because in the last 6 years you've seen so many people come in and do their thing in different verticals. Uh, Brands have also, and because brands have indulged so much with so many other so many different kind of talent, that they've also become very agnostic of the fact that, okay, if I'm working with Bhuvan, these are the kind of things that will work for him, so I must hear him out.
Yeah.
You know, we last year we did this television commercial with Mintra,
Mm.
and never have I ever seen a big brand coming to a creator and saying, this is the script, please change it and make it the way you want to.
Mm.
And we'll bring in your characters and we'll shoot a TVC and put crores of money and run it on GCs and everywhere else that is possible.
Yeah.
So I feel these are changing times, and then there are brands who are coming in and partnering with creators to create co-developed brands, right? Co-created brands. I think times are moving. Now that you see Dhindora, it being one of the first where an independent creator has come out and made a show out of whatever universe he had created.
Mm.
I'm sure there's a lot in store. I'm hoping that your OTT players come to creators and say, create a show for us, instead of going to production houses or writers or creators. They'd rather go to creators and say, why don't we indulge in something, and we let us give you the scale that you require. So there are tons of things happening, and I'm sure that this every quarter there'll be something new happening for guys like us.
Yeah. You said one thing, right, which I think is very important, is that there was a time, and I remember, because me coming from the agency side, where the tendency was to hand a creator a script the same way how you'd hand a talent a script, and you say, no, we've written it about in the way that you normally would speak. But I think there's a point when that shift happened where you're saying, okay, why do I have to tell you what your voice will sound like? Because you anyway make content, you can write that down. I think that was the point when all this changed, right? When suddenly, I don't know why it feels like common sense today, but at that point of time, there was so many other factors. Like, okay, there was the brand guidelines, and the brand only speaks this way, so you can't say these things. And I also think for a lot of brands, they have to shift from a talent mindset to a creator mindset, where with talent, you normally can tell them, they come in, they do the script, but here, this is a person who's actually creative, who's actually building that out.
Plus,
so
also
I
as
think
a platform
yeah, exactly.
to distribute it, which was missing for quite some time.
Yeah. And as you're doing that, I think what especially, and there's a switch I saw, especially with what you guys achieved, right? Which is that Bhuvan went from being perceived as a creator to becoming a legitimate celebrity, almost bring him to that category of person. And I'm guessing there was obviously a lot of work that went into getting brands to understand that he is genuinely that, which would mean a lot of behind the scenes work for you. So what for you kind of helps to make that? Because I know a lot of people say, okay, I want to make that shift too. And I know it's not as easy as putting a formula into it, but what do you feel kind of helped do that transition? Because he's today perceived in a very different light from, let's say, what a standard creator would be.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's actually very easy to be doing that, because all you have to say is start to learn to say no. I think for the first 5 years, I would have said 9 no's out of 10. If I'm getting 10 deals that I have to discuss, I used to say no to almost every deal, because the ethos did not match. Because Bhuvan and I decided these are the kind of stuff that we do. This is what keeps us organic. This is what also keeps our audiences happy. And Bhuvan and I, we come from a background where we'd want to make less money, but still want to be loyal to the partners that we have. So since the beginning, I think since 2018, we had started saying no, and out of the blue, we started getting endorsement deals. Because I cracked this strategy where I'd say, okay, you've been spending X amount of money on Bollywood talent. where they come for 2 days of shoot, and you create that ad, and you again spend money on distributing that ad on
Mm,
traditional medium,
mm,
right? Or on digital medium. I'd rather come and give you that 2 days. Plus, I'll give you so many other deliverables across my platform. And probably the deal value would be almost the same, but I'm giving you distribution, but plus creative, plus the face value that you require.
yeah.
Uh, and within 6 months, we were sold out for the next 12 months, right? And that gave me more ease to say no, because when once you're sold out or you're unavailable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just how you see in the drop culture, when you're unavailable, it starts to
Yeah.
create the kind of
Exactly.
hype that you require, right? So I think that's what happened with us in 2018,
Mm,
and we started saying no to things that we did not want to do, because we never got lured with the kind of money that was coming our way.
mm, mm,
We thought, okay, we are happy with this is the kind of content we put out. This is the frequency that we follow on our channel, and this is the maximum that we can commit to, And we got lucky. We got to partner with Tissot. We got to partner with Lenskart,
mm.
the younger brands like Arctic Fox, Beardo, maybe, and that became like a case study for the bigger brands like Myntra or the other brands that Bhuvan's partnered with recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, one of course is to start to say no. The other is to keep like a good balance between organic and branded content, so that one, you're not accessible, not easy. I mean, you're not a sellout.
Mhm.
That's what people or the audiences call a creator very easily.
Yeah.
So you don't want that tag to come your way. And we've also faced it. Like if around, let's say, season time, when four brands will come to Bhuvan and say, listen, we need you to put out 4 posts,
Mm,
right? I think brands have been very nice to us. They've understood the fact that, okay, these guys work in a certain manner.
yeah.
Even if we don't do a post today, if he wishes to do it a week later, he'd give us maximum numbers, maximum engagement, and good kind of ROI. So yeah, I mean, just few things we did unknowingly, knowingly, which worked for us,
Yeah.
and I think 90% of the credit goes to Bhuvan, because the way he keeps himself up, the way he's super exclusive. You won't see him doing random things here and there. He would never put pressure on me to make money. He'd never
Mm,
put pressure on me to crack something. He's very patient. He hardly knows the kind of deal value that comes his way. He's like, if he's excited, he'll just jump into it.
yeah.
So yeah, that, and then few partnerships we did with the likes of NBA, or we did something with World Economic Forum and things like that, and that I think worked in his favor, and got him the kind of credibility that he has made till now.
How has your, um, I wouldn't say role, but how have you seen yourself evolve over this period? Because I think that's one piece. To be honest, I'm a person who always has has looked at the people who drive these things. Obviously, the creative is front and center. But as a person who has also worked on the back end for a large part of his career, I also always like to learn the journeys of the people who are driving it from the operational, from the business side of things. So, how has your journey been? How have you seen yourself change and evolve?
In a one-liner, when I started after engineering, I used to be an event organizer. So I used to be a promoter who used to hook different talent up with colleges and organize college festivals and do production, sound, light, stage, etc. Now I've become that art talent manager. So now
Mm,
today, earlier I had to go via and reach out to talent, and today artists and singers are accessible, and I'm sort of not only doing their shows but also trying to make them work with us in a way.
mm,
Like, we recently got Kailash K to sing a song for us, which was
mm. Yeah.
surreal. But I would have
Mm,
never imagined in my life that I'd be in a recording studio and Kailash K Saab would be recording it, or Rekha Bhardwaj ma'am would be recording it. So my life, I think I love it, because all of this I dreamt of, creating a show, hosting a premiere, etc., etc. That's what people see on on digital. This is the perception that goes out. On the hindsight, which is behind the scenes, I think life's changed completely, because once you're a talent manager, once you sort of become like that watchdog, right? You become like
yeah.
that gatekeeper, who has to take everything, think about everything from two sides. I mean, you have to think of all the possibilities that are going to go after this conversation. If I'm talking to somebody, I have to evaluate, okay, what's going to come next. So it's sort of become crazy. And I've sort of become like a madman because I don't know what exactly would come our way and when and how you have to tackle it, because all of this is very new. Things like Dhindora was supposed to release in the second quarter this year. And for the past 6 months, we were only dealing with delays, multiple delays here and there from various partners, and because of various reasons, we were just hanging in the middle. We had no clue if the show will come out. And this is something which we've never spoken about. We had no clue if the show will actually come out. It was almost about to get shut. But we realized that, okay, we've spent 4 years on this. As a talent manager, I would have never gotten that experience, to develop a show with the likes of Hussein Dalal and Abbas Dalal, who've written the likes of, Yash, Ye Javani Divani and your Brahmastras or your Kalank and etc. To develop this with them and then go into production, do the entire show in a pandemic. I think there was a lot of learning that came our way. Again, all of this is very in the process of it. I mean, you just every day it happens. Like, for example, the first day of shoot after the first wave, we were supposed to wake up at 5:30 and 3:30 somebody comes and says the location permission is cancelled because it's become a red area, red zone. I think, it's too many things that have come our way very early. And I just hope our heads remain at the same place and we're able to tackle most of it on time.
There's also something that comes with, I think that's happened more of late. Right? You're seeing creators focus on two sides. One side is, okay, how can I build content that is far larger in scale from what I have been doing on my platform right now? And on the other end, how can I build products, right? How do you build, let's say, clothing, merchandise, etc., and all that stuff? And you've actually been doing, in a sense, doing both. You've seen a lot of people choose one or the other. There are a few who have chosen to do both. And I want to dig deeper into Dhindora, but I want to also talk about how the other business kind of kicked off. How has that kind of grown? Because everybody does it in smaller batches, but you guys have been able to do it in a sustained manner. How has that really been almost building out a physical product, building out apparel, building that entire thing out? Because it's a whole different ball game, not in no way connected if you think about it from what you were doing throughout. How has that journey been?
It's been good actually, because and like you said, we've kept it ongoing for the past 5 years. In January we'll turn 5. The idea definitely came from Bhuvan's best friend Arvind Bhandari, right? He's the brainchild behind Youth Yapa, because he has that skill set of creating a brand and dealing with things which are more offline. And I think Bhuvan and we've just helped him market the entire brand and like put it wherever we can, and that's that. I think it's entirely Arvind's wit and the team that he has been able to build for himself. But again, it's a very difficult task. It seems very easy to create 50 SKUs and to stock them. And I've done this for other creators as well under the same banner, right? And I've seen people walking away from the brand very easily because you have to actually invest money. In other cases, and in ours being the best case, that we've never invested money in our videos because they were always shot on a cell phone. So this was the first time that we were investing something, a good amount of money into something which all of us as creators think, okay, if we are able to make 1% of sales out of the subscriber base that we have, we'd be millionaires. That's exactly what we thought in 2017. And the first thing when the video and when the website went live, it crashed because of poor servers, right? So it took us about 20 days to bring it back. And since then, it's been a ride. We've sort of figured out that because the kind of TG we used to deal with 2 years back were below the age of 18, majority of them, right? Who do not have credit cards, who do not have any kind of UPI, Paytm, etc. access. And when you are dealing with millions of people, you can't really open COD because you are not
Yeah.
that cash rich to be paying all return values from your own pocket, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy. So we realized that we had already shut shop for almost 30 or 40% of our audiences because they
Mm.
can't
Yeah.
order
Can
online.
buy. Yeah.
They can't make the payment online, and all they can do is maybe order it via COD. And I've heard these stories where the parents have come to us and said, मेरे बेटे ने मंगा लिया था और जैसे ही घर पे आया तो हमें बोला कि इसके पैसे दे दो, फिर हमने तो मना कर दिया इसलिए हमने वापस भेज दिया. So it's crazy, and because you're dealing with people who have access of internet almost everywhere in the country, right?
Mm.
So you never know where your shipping is going to go or where your parcel is going to go. So it's difficult to, one, maintain inventory, two, maintain an e-com platform, three, then to market it, because Bhuvan also is super exclusive there as well. He doesn't really want to push out Youth Yaba left, right, and center every day because he wants to keep things organic, and he likes to do things once in a blue moon. And whenever he does these things, it's major impact. I'm sorry, Bhuvan. So whenever he pushes out the brand, there's major impact to the brand, right? But
Yeah.
when he's laying low, when when he wants to take like a 2-month gap break from creating content, that's when the brand suffers a little. But I think we've sort of, in the last 8 months in the second wave, we've sort of realized how to manage the brand and run it on its own standalone, so that we are not dependent on Bhuvan. But my only suggestion to every other creator out there, whoever's listening, is that creating your own brand and will probably get you less money in terms of profits or transaction on month basis, versus them marketing somebody else's brand through one video.
Yeah.
The money comparison would be, I mean, there'll be a huge gap. But 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, even 3 years down the line, when you will look at the brand that you created for yourself, you own, you would see there is a lot of value that you're able to build around that brand. And if after 5 years you will evaluate the kind of value that you've built around this brand, right, the kind of scale that you've gotten it to versus the amount of brand endorsements that you've done, then there'd be a huge gap there. So which I believe a lot of creators don't understand, because they feel they'll order 500 t-shirts, they'll sell those 500 t-shirts and make 500 rupees profit on each t-shirt and make 2.5 lakh rupees, and they'd be happy. One, you cannot sell 500 t-shirts just like that. Two, you don't make that profit right away. Three, it'll be very insignificant versus the kind of brand deals that you do. So yeah, I mean, it's a matter of perseverance and patience, and it definitely grows.
And as you're kind of building out Artist Radbi, right? How has that been for you? Because when you have been almost the core partner for one creator, as you're kind of spreading that out, how has that been for you as a just kind of, I don't know. In one end it could be okay, it's simple, it's pretty much doing the same thing, but I'm guessing it would also have some unlearning of saying, okay, I understood one personality, these are many more personalities. So how has that been?
It's actually more difficult than dealing with Bhuvan, because Bhuvan's not the quintessential talent that we know of. He's one rare person that you would meet, right? So, and every other talent would want to do more shows, would want to do more brand deals, would want to make more money. And on top of that, would also be very lazy. Bhuvan's not like that. Bhuvan would, if he has his head in the right place, he'll finish that thing within the next 6 hours. Be it writing, shooting, editing, and I'm so sorry, just 1 second. Well, Bhuvan, if Bhuvan has his head at the right place, he'd script, shoot, edit, and release a video within 6 hours. Versus my other talent, they're all music talent, so they take their own sweet time to first group up, because they're all bands and bigger groups. So they'll first group up, then think of jamming, and then probably deviate into something which is more fun and not work. And then eventually it'll take about a month for them to create an audio and another month and a half to create a video. And then they would think of how to release it. And so it's a long, sort of a journey with them. It's a lot of investment because in Bhuvan's case, you would get deals coming your way.
Yeah.
And Artist Academy, the whole nature behind Artist Academy is to empower fresh and new talent. So 4 years back when we started that, we were only onboarding talent who I knew were great for the stage, and had to prove to their parents that, okay, we can make money out of art. We don't really need to do your typical job. So that's why I started Artist Academy. That's why it gives me the most amount of happiness in life, because I was in the same space 5 years back and I needed somebody to hold my hand and help me make money and prove a point to my parents, right? So same way, me and a couple of more people in my team, we try and not now, because in the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, the live show business has taken it's become very difficult. But till about 2 years back, we used to do about 4 to 5 shows every day. And these were small scale shows to large scale shows. I mean, all kinds of shows that we could actually be a part of. We used to do great brand. We still do great brand deals. We've identified few talent who are very different. So there's this guy who's a beatboxer, right? He's India's first folk beatboxer. Nice. I met him about 7 years back where I was in a college and I was talking to the students there, and he came out of the audience and blew everybody's minds. I was like, you're amazing, and I definitely want to work with you. And that's the kind of relationship I have with him. Then there is this guy who's called Nox Artist, and I know him since more than 12 years now. Okay. And I've been a part of his journey since his beginning. So since he ever had about 200,000 subscribers, now close to about 4 million. But we've been friends, and I've been their CEO. It's not like I'm their manager or my team member is their manager. I'm their CEO. I look after everything else that is happening other than content at their end. And we used to try get them shows so that monthly revenue sort of keeps going on. And then we used to try get them brand deals so that they could basically scale their brand up. That's what we used to do for them. We're doing this now for fewer talent, but the idea is to only do it for fresh and brewing talent and not somebody who are already established and are talk of the town. That's not the idea there.
You mentioned that you're the CEO, not the manager. And I think that's a very important distinction, right? Because I think the problem with anybody who works with any person who's categorized, let's say, influencer, creator, talent, etc., that word manager, I think most times does disservice to what they actually do, because you do so much more. So if I were to define for someone, and I also think this, because a large part of the audience here also is people who are figuring out what their career should be. And in many ways, I even got a few messages in the past saying, okay, I actually, like, sometimes when you ask a guest, what does this career entail? I make my parents maybe listen to that part of it. It helps me define what I want to do. So how would you define this? Like, what you do in terms of because many people will end up being the CEO of a creator rather than the manager. How is that differentiated, and what does it involve?
When you're I don't know, I could be wrong and people from my industry might just kill me by here after sharing. But I just feel that managers are those who are just managing schedules and dates and are facilitating the talent's need on day-to-day basis. And CEOs or COs or business partners are those who know that, okay, my asset is my talent. Bhuvan hates the word talent. So my asset is the creator who I work with, who's my business partner. Yeah. And I have to think of all means and ways of how can I take his talent and his skill set or whatever he does best to more number of people or to more platforms or to more mediums, right? Yeah. Once till the time I'm only restricted to facilitating to Bhuvan's needs or to Divyansh's needs or to Nox's needs, I'll only play a job of a manager, right? How you have your typical managers in the office who are facilitating things because you've been asked to do so. versus when you're working as a business partner, or if you're working as a CEO, you will think two steps ahead and try and facilitate a better life, or a better work life for the business partner. So that's the thin line. For example, if I would have been a manager, this Dhindora would have been produced by
Some
some
other
big
production
production
house.
com-
Yeah.
yeah, some big production company, and Bhuvan would have just given his creative, and things would have rolled very easily.
Mm.
But because Bhuvan and I are co-producers on the show, we've learned so much. We know the nitty-gritties of it, and tomorrow we can create 4 shows of the same type and at the
Yeah.
same time as well, because we now have the kind of bandwidth that we require.
That's a great way to kind of define this. I have a bunch more questions for you, but I've been told and we need to go in for a break. So he's going to do that and be right back with Advertising is Dead. Welcome back to Advertising is Dead. We're still talking to Rohit. One of the things about creating a large scale show is not just what you learn in creating it, but also how you then kind of see how you can do a lot more of it. And I think after you do the first one, you realize many of the mistakes, you also realize that, okay, this is how you can do it at scale. So how is that panning out? I know there are a bunch of shows planned. There's a lot of stuff happening there. How are you guys looking at life post Dhindora, if I can call it that, in terms of just the properties you're coming up with, how you're structuring it, and because that's a whole another world to kind of explore.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mammoth, because it's very easy to think of a creative and say, okay, let's go produce it.
Yeah.
But once you're on it, it brings so many hurdles and so many lessons that we learned, right? And for us, it was very new because we've never worked with a production house. We've only done like 6 or 7 music videos, which again are. I mean, it's less. I mean, it's super easy to create a music video versus creating something which has dialogues and can go anywhere. And yeah, I mean, it was very new because initially we were dealing with a platform and a giant and trying to close our contracts on time and get this right kind of accesses and things which we require as a talent, etching all of that out in a contract and getting everybody to agree to it is difficult. And also once you're doing it for the first time, it's also like learning. So whenever you're in a meeting and you have 6 more people there, you have to sort of take a backseat and apologize also multiple times, because you probably don't know if you've said the right thing or not. So yeah, that happened with us because we were told to make this show in 2019, but only in 2018 rather, and only in 2019 made we realize, okay, now is the time we must buckle up and get a team in place and start writing the show, because it's a big opportunity. Why are we letting go of it? And since then, there have been so many things that we had to step in as creators, as producers, that I would have never imagined. I would have never imagined waking up at 9 a.m. And going for a DI session, coloring coloring the show myself, because my DOP wasn't available for that week and the show had to come out in the next 1 week. So it becomes really difficult. And once you've delivered like 170 videos on your own, so you sort of want to indulge and micromanage almost everything, which again is a great learning experience. And I'd suggest everybody who's doing anything for the first time that you must go and micromanage things, or rather just be a part of every process that is happening under your nose, so that you have some sort of learning, and this is the only experience that will help you create other things in the future, right? So yeah, Dhindora was a learning experience, and while we realized that, okay, now this is something that we can actually do and we like doing, so we ended up indulging in developing another show, which again is going to come on a different platform. Bhuvan's going to be in it, and we're almost on the verge of beginning the process of creating it, and that's something which is exciting, that is happening at BBKiVines Productions. And other than that, Dhindora, life after Dhindora is that, okay, this is the universe that we had. These were the 170 videos or the background to these characters that we have developed.
Yeah.
This is the first long format that we've developed, and this has clocked so many views or so many unique viewers, etc. Now I want to speak to partners and platforms and even for that matter studios to see the merit in these characters,
Mm.
to imagine the merit and to basically co-create or scale the entire universe along with me and Bhuvan,
Yeah.
and take it to multiple places, because I see merit in Titu Mama having his own 90-minute
Yeah.
film, or Bhuvan
I would watch
Bachordas and
that.
Samir. Yeah, I mean, I'd watch that. We still are worried कि कितने लोग, how many people will actually accept other spin-offs and things like that out of Dhindora. This being the first, the kind of reception this has received, I want to test it in all kind of waters, not only on YouTube.
Mm.
But yeah, the idea is, how do we scale these 19, 20 odd characters? How do we use more technology and scale the production up however we can? Like, for example, in Dhindora, we've used this one equipment that I'm really proud of.
Mm.
And it was super expensive, so we could use it only on one day of shoot.
Mm.
But this is the same equipment that they shot Zero on.
Nice.
Shahrukh
Yeah.
and Red Chillies got it to India, and they shot the entire film on that equipment.
Mm.
And it works really well for VFX, etc. So one day I want to use it for the entire shoot schedule.
Mm.
Like, I have the equipment ready for me and go shoot.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of
Yeah.
position that we want to be in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, whatever new, different, mostly Bhuvan and I have thought of how can we get new creators to partner with us, be it writers, be it screenplay writers, or
Yeah.
actors for that matter, or directors even. Even our director for Dhindora was a first-time director. He had only been a chief AD or first AD on different projects, but this
Yeah.
was his first as a director. So we just want to work with new talent, create short films, create sketches. We are doing a few. We've been able to hunt and figure out and shortlist a few short films and sketches, etc.
Yeah.
There is a long format show definitely coming out. There is work which has begun on Dhindora 2. So I think, yeah, the plate is full. Now I want to indulge with other creators and produce their stuff, because now I've understood, and very rarely, and I don't want to feel like, I mean, I don't want to brag at all, but I feel how production houses crack their contract and how a creator talent manager will crack a contract will be very different.
Yeah. So true.
Because just a production house just putting a show together, getting actors together, and giving it away to the platform or the studio, versus a creator who can add so much more value in terms of marketing, things other than that, that could happen around the show. So I'd definitely want to indulge in creating more creator-led shows, be it fiction, non-fiction. But that's something that I'm super excited and looking forward to.
Um, from what you said, I think there's an important question here for anybody who's wanting to be a creator or is already a creator, right? Is the fact that, as there was a time when it was just YouTube. We've obviously had TikTok, which came and went. We obviously have multiple of those short form formats which are there. You have Instagram, which is now very clearly moving towards being a video platform. More and more. I mean, even as of today, I was watching a video with the Instagram CEO said 2022, our focus is video and creators. So there's no other way to put it more clearly when he's saying that. What would your suggestion be for a creator today? Because if you're someone who's, let's say, 16, 17 today, and there's a lot of those who will reach out and say, okay, I don't want to go study. I want to just be a creator. I want to just be a YouTuber, which seems to be a constant conversation. What is your almost advice to them? What do you tell them that how should they approach it?
I'd say you can be a full-time creator while you are pursuing your undergrad. I mean, your studies, or nothing will obstruct or be a hurdle if you want to be a creator, because it totally depends on the kind of genre one wants to indulge in. If you're a gamer, if you're a comedy creator, if you're a dance creator, if you're a singer, I think if you're looking to target platforms like Instagram, YouTube, or your short video platforms, you can be anywhere and you can become a creator, I'd always suggest go do that undergrad, uh, because the kind of experience that you would get in that 3 to 4 years
Yeah.
is the kind of experience that will reflect in your content 5 to 10 years down the line, right?
Yeah.
When you see creators like TVF, all of them come from a very engineering or uh,
Yeah.
padhai, or that kind of
Yeah.
education system that
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
all followed, which reflects in their content. Versus if you'd see Bhuvan, who's done history honors and has studied in Delhi University
Yeah.
and has lived in Delhi, is what reflects in
In
his
his content.
content. So and I think that 1 year of engineering, which I proudly feel I happily failed, because
Mm.
that 1 year taught me the most,
Mm.
right? Because I feel, and this is not as a talent manager or a creator or anything, I feel once you're studying till the class 12th, unless you are changing cities or changing schools,
Mm.
you are a part of the same kind of people. You're the part of the
Yeah.
same herd. So the kind of experiences that you get till about 12th grade
Yeah.
is very mundane. It's the same, right?
Mhm.
It won't change your life. It won't blow your mind,
Yeah.
because everybody's trying to do some things which are happening around them, and that's that. Once you go to a new different province, or you go to a
Mm.
different college, or if you go
Yeah.
to a university, or are living in a PG kind of a situation, or a hostel, that's where you will see people coming from different spaces of our country, right?
Yeah.
Different cities, different strata, different upbringing, different kind
Yeah.
of parents, different kind of friends. Once you live with them for 3 to 4 years, that's when you will actually grow,
Yeah.
out of that cocoon. So just even if you don't want to be a creator, even if you are thinking कि मैं पढ़ाई करूं कि नहीं करूं, आप जाओ for that,
Correct.
just for
You get
that
so much more
cushion.
than education from that. Yeah.
Yeah, just so much more than education, right? You might not attend your classes, but whatever's happening around you will teach you so much
Mm.
that nothing can beat it. At least घर पे रहने से तो I've seen. I mean, we were a group of 6 people in
Yeah.
school, and we
Yeah.
used to be crazy in theater. I mean, we were all trained in theater. We were all the presidents or the head boys, etc., of our school.
Mm.
But we only saw real life when we stepped out. One went to Dubai, I went to Solon to study, another
Yeah.
one went to Delhi University. But the couple of friends who were staying at home,
Mm.
I feel not much has changed for them,
Mm.
until they joined a cooperative, or until they joined a startup,
Mm.
where
Mm.
they met new kind of people. So best is to indulge in undergrad,
Yeah.
because आप कितनी पढ़ाई करोगे? You will only study for 6 to 7 hours in a day.
Yeah.
The rest 12 hours or 10 hours of the day is for you to create content, absorb, create content, edit, put it out.
Yeah.
And if you'll only do content, because I feel strongly of this, and I could be the fewer percentage of the entire lot, but if I like doing something, I can't do it 365 days.
Yeah. 100%.
If I like talking to you, I can't talk to you every day. I can't make it a podcast. I
Mm.
can't be a Rohit Raj podcast, because I want to talk. I don't want to do it as a job.
Yeah.
So once you are studying and also doing content creation will become like that recreational thing for you, so
Yeah.
that you feel happy while you're doing it. So don't make it as if you have to every day you have to go and sit in front of the camera and make videos. It shouldn't be like that.
Mm.
Plus 3 साल बाद अगर नहीं हुआ कुछ,
Mm.
जो कि बहुत सारे लोग के साथ हो सकता है, so many people out there were there 4 years back and are nowhere to be seen now, right?
Mm.
But if that kind of a situation happens, you still have that degree. You can, out of that experience, maybe crack something for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it won't hurt कि मैं तो content creator बनने चला था, वो कुछ हुआ नहीं. वो वाली, at least that feeling won't be there.
So true. You know, and beyond this part, what do you tell creators? I won't use talent, since you said that's not a term you should be used. What do you tell creators or even this space now to keep in mind when they kind of looking at not just for how they create, but really how they should grow?
I mean, I've said this quite many times, and I'll say it again as well. Don't get a talent manager the minute your video goes viral. Don't go to an agency and and give your representation to a bunch of people, because you need to do it for yourself for the first 6 months at least,
Mm.
so that you know aate dal ka bhav ki
Correct.
kya hai. Huh? Ki,
Uh,
so that you're not unreasonable to your talent manager, to your agency. Uh, and because if you would have indulged in it for first 6 months, you would know the nitty-gritties of doing a business like this, so that your
yeah.
talent manager or your
Yeah.
agency cannot take you for a ride, right? So it's both. So it's great education and enlightenment for the creator if they indulge in business themselves in the first 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
After a year, if they feel that okay, managing or picking up calls or responding to emails is taking away or eating up their content creation time,
Mm.
that's when they can bring in somebody who can manage their business emails and calls.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'd suggest a lot of creators become creators because they feel the minute they'll hit 100,000 followers or subscribers, they'll start monetizing it via brands.
Yeah.
It depends on the kind of need and greed that you have. So I won't generalize it. But my only suggestion is that if you're here for the if you're in this for the long run,
Mm.
then you must, wait it out. You because you need to first satisfy your audiences, which is going to stick with you for the next 5 to 6 years with organic content, and so much of it that when you start to indulge in branded content,
Yeah.
they should not feel betrayed.
Yeah.
So and there should be a good balance between organic and branded content, so that people don't just swipe up or maybe just pass through your content and not pay attention to it. That's all that I'd say. It's very easy to say it, but once you're doing it
Yeah.
is when you actually feel it. But yeah.
Towards the later of every episode, I ask my guest set of questions. But for you, I'm going to start out with one question, which happens a lot. Your name is the same name that my co-founder at Glitch and Western Rohit has. So how many times have you been tagged as Rohit Raj in a Glitch article by a news publication over the last many years?
So when the article is about Glitch, they never tag me because they know the right Rohit Raj.
Ah.
When the article is about me, that's when they tag him because they don't know that they don't know this Rohit Raj. So I mean, but it's interesting because this is the first time. I mean, I thought my dad was really dramatic, and he gave me this name Rohit and Raj. So it's super cool.
Yeah.
But then I met him. Then I got to know about him, and his name was also equally cool. I was like, why are you? This is like producer, co-founder type name. Very bhari.
He says that he's basically. Remember Ritik's first movie, right? First half Rohit, second half Raj.
Second half Raj.
That is how the name came to be. But yeah, the number of times I've seen that happen on especially on actually only on Twitter, is that I'm like, at some point, is someone going to keep this? Like, one of you has to put in a voice saying not the other Rohit Raj, right? I think that might create more confusion, but I think that's definitely something that has to be done.
But I too feel very happy. I feel very privileged whenever people tag me instead of him, because I'm like, somebody is discovering me for whatever good work he is doing. But it's fun, yeah. I would definitely love to meet him. आप मिलवाओ हमें please.
मिलाता ना. I also have to meet you in person. We still haven't done that, so we'll be करेंगे.
Yeah, sure.
What do you spend? What keeps you excited outside of work, or with everything that you're doing beyond that? What do you spend a lot of time doing beyond everything that you've been doing?
Abhi to, frankly, for the past 2 years, I've been just binging a lot of content. Earlier, I used to do it for the entertainment. Yeah, it's fun. Now it's become sort of sour. The whole experience of consuming content has become sour because now you try and find out those mistakes. You'll ye kaise kiya? Ye kyun kiya aise? But I think, binging content takes away most of my time. But yeah, Bhuvan and I, and we're like 4 or 5 of us. We have this small pad in Mumbai. We just sit and we just talk and we just laugh the entire night, or we just go out on drives. Raat mein. I think that's what keeps us happy. Khidkiyan neeche karke, barish ho rahi hai, and we're just roaming around Mumbai. We go to Kolaba town and come back. But that's all that I do, other than working, because when you're a manager, you wake up to a call and you sleep after a call.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a nightmare. But this is all that I do.
Yeah.
Watching content and like having fun with whatever amount of fun that we can have amongst the six of us that we are.
What have you consumed recently that you enjoyed in terms of content or anything else?
Last night I slept. I knew that you were going to ask me, so I watched this. Yeah, Don't Look Up. So halfway through it, I slept. I found it really interesting. I was really
so the
late
halfway
in the
point
evening.
is when it slows down a little bit. When I was also like a kheech rahe, and then something happens and it flips. So even I halfway through was starting to get okay. They're stretching it. It's feeling longer, and then it just like the last part actually hits you very hard. The first half is very like
first half I've seen.
First half is very mockumentary. Second half gets very like it hits you.
Nice.
It's what the second part is actually what I enjoyed more than the first half of the thing, because it becomes too much at some point.
Today is when I'm going to finish Don't Look Up, but I watch everything, whatever is Hindi. I mean, of course, I watch English stuff as well. It's not like I'm not cool, but I watch everything that comes out of India. That is not about being
cool. You should watch all things.
But mera ye hai ki whatever comes out of India, I have to watch it. Be it good, bad, bura. Because I just feel that somebody would have put in 6 months in creating this, or maybe more than that. And so I watched Aranyak, if that's how you pronounce it. I watched it on Netflix. Really liked it because it was something different than what is happening on the internet. And a couple of more things. I watched this show called Decoupled because this is something that I watched 2 days back. But yahi sab main abhi to recently. This is all that I've been able to. And I watched 83 and I really liked it.
I'm still trying to get a chance to go see it. I'll hopefully see it before the week is over.
Yeah, please do that, because then they'll shut all.
Before they do that, I want to go.
Please, it's a great film. I think that film has shown cricket in the most realist form. And the fact that you've been hearing this story for the past so many years and you have no visuals of it, right? Like all you've read is on the internet or in the newspaper, and that's all. They just talk about it. So the way they've put it all together, I think, excellent.
And so my last question is generally a spin on the name of the show, which is basically, I'm just trying to think of what it should be for you. Why do you think the need for a CEO for a creator will not die?
Because I mean, no brand can function without a CEO, right? That's what I feel. Like no product, you cannot sell a product without a CEO or a COO. So a creator is sort of like a product. It's an asset. It's like any kind of brand. So if you want to scale to a brand, if you want to scale to be one of the biggest brands in the business, then I think you definitely need a CEO, because you can only do so much in 24 hours every day.
Thanks so much, Rohit. Thanks for doing this. I'm happy we finally did it. Hopefully the first of many times we bring you onto this show over the next couple of years. But I'm happy you did it. Thanks for coming on Advertising Instead.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
IVM.